back to the Global Film Lens, the podcast where we explore the intersection of cinema, culture, and the human spirit. I'm your host, Pixie Chroma.
And I'm Flicker Frame. For this special edition, we're taking a break from our country-by-country deep dives to focus on a cinematic icon that has no single nationality, the automobile.
That's right. It's a testament to the power of the moving image that a simple machine of metal and rubber can become a symbol of freedom, a vessel for adventure, a signifier of rebellion, and in some cases, a character in its own right. Today, we're taking a global tour of the most iconic cars in cinema.
Dusty American highways to the narrow streets of Marseille and the high-tech alleyways of Tokyo, cars have a starring role in some of the world's most beloved films. Let's start with the classics. When you think of cars in American cinema, you're often thinking of a certain kind of rebellion and an open road. Nothing embodies this more than Steve McQueen's green Ford Mustang GT in Bullitt.
Absolutely. That 10.5-minute car chase through the streets of San Francisco is legendary. The car wasn't just a prop, it was an extension of McQueen's character, stoic, powerful, and cool under pressure. It defined an era of cinema and the muscle car.
And for a different kind of American rebellion. You have the black Pontiac Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit. It's pure, unadulterated fun, an embodiment of the mischievous, anti-establishment spirit of the 70s. The car itself became a symbol of outlaw freedom.
Then you have the DeLorean in Back to the Future. It's the ultimate example of a car becoming an entire fantasy. It's a time machine. It took a relatively obscure car and turned it into a cultural touchstone for an entire generation. Let's cross the Atlantic to Europe, where cars in cinema are often symbols of elegance, speed, and sophistication. The most famous example, of course, is James Bond's Aston Martin DB5.
The Aston Martin DB5 is the epitome of the spy genre. It's not just a beautiful car, it's a mobile gadget lab, a symbol of high-stakes espionage and British refinement. It perfectly encapsulates Bond's character, suave, but with a hidden arsenal.
For something entirely different, but equally iconic, you have the Mini Coopers in The Italian Job. These small, nimble cars weaving through the streets of Rome and Turin were a joyous celebration of cleverness and a certain cheeky British humor, proving that you don't need a huge, powerful car to be a star.
And we can't forget France's own contribution to the high-speed car chase genre with the Taxi film series. The star of the show is the souped-up white Peugeot 46. It's a fun, action comedy franchise where a talented taxi driver and a bumbling policeman team up, and the car's hidden modifications become central to catching criminals. It's a different, more comedic take on the Karaz weapon.
And in more recent European cinema, you have the incredibly slick Audi A8 from the Transporter series. It's a modern, almost clinical symbol of precision and power, perfectly suited to its stoic and deadly driver.
Moving on to Asia, we see a shift in the role of the car. In Japan, cars often represent high-tech innovation, a subculture, or the art of racing.
That's where you get the massive drift culture. Films like Initial D, based on the popular manga, turned the Toyota AE86 into a drifting icon. And the Fast and Furious franchise, particularly in its later entries, heavily drew on the Japanese tuner car scene, showcasing cars like the Nissan Skyline, GTR, and the Mazda RX-7. The cars are technological extensions of the characters themselves.
In India, cars can be a part of the vibrant chaos and comedy of everyday life. While there aren't as many hero cars, the Ambassador, or the ubiquitous rickshaws, are a constant presence, part of the fabric of the story, not just a flashy accessory.
And we saw in our episode on Latin American cinema how the car can represent so much more. In Amores Perros, a car crash is the central plot device that weaves three disparate stories together. The car is not a symbol of freedom here. It's an instrument of fate, of tragedy, and a moment of intersection for a society's different classes.
And in films like Y2 Mama Tambien, the car is a character in its own right, a space for personal confession and coming out, a bubble of freedom as the protagonists drive across the Mexican landscape, a journey that's as much about self-discovery as it is about the destination.
Let's step back for a moment and talk about when the car actually is the character. It's a trope we've seen everywhere.
From Herbie the Love Bug, with his mischievous personality and mind of his own, to KITT, from Knight Rider, a talking intelligent car. These aren't just vehicles, they're partners, sidekicks, and moral guides for their human counterparts. And of course, there's Lightning McQueen from the animated film Cars, who literally is the character.
It's a powerful idea. It shows how deeply intertwined cars have become with our culture and our stories. So much so that we can give them human emotions and motivations.
So, whether they're symbols of elegance, vehicles of destruction, or characters with a heart of their own, cars in movies are far more than just transportation. They reflect our aspirations, our fears, and the cultures that create them.
For this special edition, we don't have our usual list of recommendations, but we encourage you to watch a great car movie. Our top picks would be Drive, a moody neon-soaked neo-noir where the car is central to the driver's identity. Baby Driver, a stylized action flick that turns a car chase into a musical number. Ford v Ferrari, an epic that's as much about the car as it is about the men who built and drove them. And of course, the Taxi series for a fun European ride.
And that's all for this special episode of the Global Film Lens. We'll be back with our regular programming next time, continuing our journey through the world's film industries. Until then, keep watching, keep thinking, and keep exploring the sacred spaces found on the Global Film Lens.